Willow Creek Springs presents Healthy Living with your host, Joe Grumbine.
Well, hello and welcome to the Healthy Living Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Grumbine, and today we continue the journey that we're calling How to Overcome Cancer and Other Obstacles. And today we're going to talk about just a crazy day, and we're going to finish off the section about advocacy. So we'll start off with the advocacy part. I left off on that episode when I had gotten an appointment with a specialist at UC Irvine, and so we have that appointment set for November 19th, and I'm still trying to chase this PET scan down. So to go back a minute, October 15th, I was diagnosed with squamous cell carcinoma, and the doctor that performed the biopsy referred it out to a specialist as well as ordered a PET scan. So this is October 15th. Gave it a week before I even checked anything because, part of this is urgency and part of this is tact and form and, just working with people. And so I said, well, as urgent as this is, I'm not going to be the guy that's tapping my fingers on the tabletop going, is it ready yet? Is it ready yet? Is it ready yet? But meanwhile, I'm not going to let time go by. The one thing I have noticed in this process so far is these people don't care about you. And maybe they do, but they don't act that way. That's for sure. Time goes by and they don't care. I don't care. I don't know how many times I have referenced to the people that are telling me, well, we don't know, we don't have this, we're just waiting. That I've got a giant fucking lump on my neck and it's trying to kill me. And I'm trying to avoid that from happening. And every day that goes by is another day that I don't know, might make the difference whether I live or die. So I know that's a little dramatic, but is it? We don't know. We don't know shit about cancer. We don't know anything. As much as all this lesson that I'm going to be sharing or I am sharing, the truth is nobody knows anything and they claim to know it, but things change all the time. Unexpected things happen all the time, and there's always risk, always risk. Every single thing you do, there is risk. So it's just like the lawyer when I was fighting my case. The truth is anything goes wrong, I'm the one that gets locked up. The lawyer really doesn't care, at least not the way that you wish they would. They don't have the same dog in the fight. They're not going to end up missing pieces or ending up in a box. So week goes by, I call up, and again, remember, this isn't just call the doctor because you don't have a direct line to them. You go through the whole system. It's 2 or 3 calls before you actually connect to the doctor themselves or the office. And after a week, I'm told, well, we're just waiting for some approval, or it's been submitted. And that's all we can do is just wait. Okay. Another week goes by. Call back again. Same thing. So now finally we're at the point where I'm like, look, this is enough. It's been 2 weeks and I haven't gotten anywhere. And that's when I began accelerating my contact. And so when I reached out a couple of days ago, and I began this, I don't know, this quest. I'm like, geez, what in the hell? Why can't I get this appointment? And I I called one day, didn't hear back. They didn't call me back. And then I called back the next day. I think this was yesterday or day before. And I said, look, I called you. I didn't even get a call back. I need to get this thing moved forward. What do I have to do? And finally, the person at the front desk, I don't even remember. I'm a little dizzy with all this stuff. They go, well, we're having a hard time with your insurance. Apparently they have some kind of third party approval and we don't have it approved. And I'm like, well, what can we do? I don't have any problem doing whatever we can do. I just need to get this PET scan done. Well, would you consider having it done in an outside of the medical clinic? I'm, well, of course, I don't care who does it. Okay, well, we'll send a referral out. So now they say they send a referral out. They say call back in 20 minutes. Okay. I give them an hour. I call back. I went over this a little bit. We don't have the referral. So then I go back again to the doctor and I say, hey, they said they don't have the referral. Oh, well, we'll send it back again. We'll send it again. Okay, no problem. This time I'm like, okay, I'll wait overnight. Again, I'm not trying to be the one to go and did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? The next morning I call, it's been overnight, a fax, an email. You know how it is. They don't take 2 days to get there. And I say, here I am. This is the doctor. Did you get the referral? No, I didn't get the referral. All right. So I go back to the doctor again. This time I think I'm finally starting to get through. I'm like, look, what do we got to do? What is going on here? And she says, well, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go out of my way to make sure that this thing happens, call him back, and we'll get there. We'll get this thing done. Okay. So again, I wait some period of time, an hour, I mean, it's a reasonable period of time. I'm not jumping the gun here. I call back again. Did you get the referral? No, I didn't get the referral. I go, what do I got to do? I'm stuck in the middle. I don't have any way. I can't even call the doctor directly. I got to go through all these hoops. I've made 40 calls in the last 2 days just trying to get this friggin' appointment done. I've got a giant lump on my neck that's trying to kill me, and you guys can't seem to figure out how to set an appointment. Oh, well, where are you at? Oh, I'm over here. Okay. Well, here's a number that they're probably trying to submit it. I'm in a call center and I'm just doing the scheduling, blah, blah, blah. They have this thing all disconnected. Nobody knows who they are. I'm not talking to the same person twice. So here's the number. This is probably the number that she's trying to get to. Otherwise, if you can call and see what number she's actually faxing to, maybe we can figure it out from there. All right. So I call the actual office of where it's actually supposed to be received at. And again, I get this automated line. Everybody's got their automated line. Now this time she goes, but here's the trick. Dial 7 and that'll get you to the front desk quickest. So I do. I dial 7, got to the front desk. Nope, nobody's here. Leave a message. Leave a message, very detailed. Tell them what I'm trying to do. No call back. Well, about, I don't know, 3-4 hours later, I try again. Same thing. I'm just like, geez, what do I got to do? I can't get through to anybody. So finally, I called back the first place again. Hello, and behold, they had got the referral. All right. So now we're going through, and I have to go through this 20 questions, all these things. First, they can't figure out who I am. Then they can't find me on the insurance. And then they don't seem to have the authorization. Nothing's right. Nothing is right. And I'm just like, look, lady, I have cancer on my neck and who knows where else. That's why I'm getting a PET scan so I can know the truth about this thing. So hopefully I can stay alive. And this is turning out to be some kind of a game show to get in. And what the hell? So finally we get to the point where, well, let's go ahead and schedule you an appointment. You're in the Inland Empire? Yes, I'm in the Inland Empire. All right. Well, the first appointment I can get you to is December 4th. I says, what are you talking about? I says, I got an appointment with the specialist on the November 19th. I got to have this done before that. What? Well, what in the hell? I go, do you not understand the urgency of this? This couldn't be a more urgent situation from my standpoint. Well, the flip side of this is we have so many people that have these PET scans ordered that we just don't have any extra time. I go, look, I don't care about any of that. I go, I'll go wherever I got to go. If I got to drive to LA, if I got to go to San Diego, you tell me where there is a place that I can go and get an appointment at, I don't know, reasonable time, a week or two. Let me check. Okay, now maybe we're getting somewhere. I was getting a little bit agitated, and she could sense. I go, am I being reasonable here? I says, I'm trying to stay alive. Is this too much for me to ask for you to be able to get this thing? And then finally she comes back. She goes, well, what about Victorville? I says, oh, Victorville, that's a long way away. I says, is there anything closer than Victorville? I'm in Paris. And then she goes, oh, what about Temecula? Like, are you kidding me? Temecula is the closest place to me. After all of this, we find a place in Temecula. And she gets an appointment on November 12th. So we're just under 2 weeks out. I says, all right, well, that's somewhat reasonable. At least it's before the 19th. Hopefully they'll get the results before then and it'll make some sense. And she got much nicer after that. Well, so did I. And so I got this appointment. And then the craziest thing, after all this, I've made I don't know how many calls. I mean, it's been 30 calls at least between all these different numbers trying to get this one appointment set. And this afternoon, I get a call from my doctor's office, and I actually know the person who called me. She's the one who weighed me in and assisted in the biopsy. And she called me up and just checked in. She goes, "Hey Joe, I'm want you to know that I'm on this, and I just wanted to verify that you got this appointment, and we are still submitted through the other radiology department as a backup just in case, and just know that we are on this. So just to let you know, being an advocate makes a difference. If I had not pressed and pressed and pressed and pressed, I would not have gotten the results I got. So anybody who is considering not putting forth an effort, um, you're not going to get much in return. All right, so now let's fast forward to today. Today was a very strange day. My day started off at 4 o'clock in the morning. I wake up, I begin my routine. I have a couple of supplements I take. I crack open my grapefruit, I start eating it. I set the coffee in motion. I go, do my business in the restroom, the usual stuff. I get dressed. I get my first 50 push-ups in, and then I prepare to go on my walk. I have my little dolly and a bucket and my headlamp and my coffee, my bulletproof coffee. So it's got a scoop of collagen peptides and some butter whipped into it. And so it provides some useful energy as we're going forward. I go and I do my walk. I walk a good half an hour to the far side of the furthest hill, start ascending the hill, climb up, poke around looking for rocks. I found a really nice flat faced rock at almost the furthest place I was at. And this thing's probably about 15, 20 pounds. I says, all right, well, I'm taking this thing back with me. So I go and I find some other rocks and I spent, I don't know, good another half an hour crawling around the hill looking for rocks and whatnot, and beginning to move things from one place to the other. And then I began my trek back home. And on my trek back home, um, I took a different route, trying to get back to the road a little quicker because I had this pretty heavy rock I was carrying with me, along with a bucket of other rocks. And I slipped. It was a slow motion slip, but I landed, my rib connected with this rock. And, if you know anything about flesh and rocks, rock beats flesh every time. So I've got a slight bruise on my rib. It's no big deal, but it's obnoxious. And I'm still feeling good. Get home with my rocks and shower, doing my second set of 50 push-ups. And then I began my morning Rife treatment. So this treatment is a circulatory and oxygenation, blood oxygenation program. I just think that that's a good move. Anything I can do to keep my blood going good and oxygenated is great. This one takes about an hour and 45 minutes. And I generally, will doze off a little bit while I'm doing it. So I get a rest and just, whatever, check email, doing whatever I need to do. And while I'm doing this, everything's good. I get up from that, do my third set of 50 push-ups. My wife makes me a beautiful breakfast, eggs and this cassava flour pancakes and a little bit of bacon, just a little, some cheese on all of that, some beans, and microgreens. Really tasty breakfast. So I eat that, and then did some computer work, and everything's fine. I finally get up and I go outside and I get started working. I just set the pump up and doing some minor stuff, preparing to do some more rock work. And all of a sudden, feeling kind of nauseous. And I'm like, oh, that's not cool. And then it starts getting worse and worse. So I come in the house and try to use the restroom and it's just tearing me up. I'm doing this just brutal cramping and just like I don't know, it's just like food poisoning, but I'm like, I know what I ate. It was good, fresh food. I don't know what the heck it was. All of a sudden, I'm just getting it really, really bad now. And my wife comes in and all of a sudden I'm like, okay, here it comes. I need to throw up. And so finally I get up, I puke my guts out and it was, it just wouldn't stop. And then, sweating and just the whole thing. And then finally it settles down. I'm drinking a little bit of mineral water and don't know what the hell was going on with that. Now it's kind of a crazy thing because I feel like at this stage, I feel like I'm in a spiritual battle. Like this lump is physical, but I believe there's a spiritual element to it. And I've talked about this before. And the first phase of this, my protocol was targeting parasites. And I thought, well, I don't know. Maybe I've killed off a bunch of parasites and this is toxin from all that. I don't know what caused it. I just have no idea. I know I didn't don't feel like I have any kind of a virus or a bug or anything. It just was a GI thing, just ripped through me. And well, it's really strange. I've never really had these kind of problems, and I'm obviously hoping that it's not connected to anything. But the second time I did combo, the directions I got were very different from the first time. A different person was uh, administering the medicine and had different set of directions. And rather than fasting before the ceremony, I was told not to fast. And so I didn't. I followed the direction, and almost the very same thing happened where I got violently nauseous and ultimately puked out my breakfast. And then I felt fine. And I don't know. I just felt like there was some kind of a spiritual element to it. And I feel like I'm in some kind of a warfare right now. It's just really crazy. But after that, I ended up taking a little nap and got back out to work and felt pretty good since then. I recently, between then and now, I ate some pistachio nuts, drank a little bit of mineral water, and my stomach's still a little unsettled. So whatever was wrong is still kind of dealing with it, but I don't know. I know that as I'm sharing this journey, when after I finish winning, I'll go back and look, and hopefully I'll learn some things about it. And that's part of what I'm doing, just documenting what's happening. And for those curious minded, you get to live it in real time. All right, that's it for today. Thank you for everybody that's being supportive, and for everybody who's not, hey, I hope you find this interesting. Talk to you next time.
This has been another episode of the Healthy Living Podcast. We produce this show so that people can share their stories, people that have overcome obstacles, people that are undergoing obstacles. We're building a community of health-minded individuals. If you're interested in supporting the show, please leave a review on the platform you're listening to it on. If you're interested in becoming a guest, please send an email to itsjoegrumbine@gmail.com, or you can send a note into the notes section of the podcast. All right, well, thank you for supporting this show, and we hope you've enjoyed it.